Hey guys, so this is the KZ-PRX, a pair of planar magnetic driver in-ear monitors from KZ. Now planar magnetic drivers always excite us audiophiles because we love that tight bass signature, and there is something very special about such drivers. So I went in with the same expectations for the PRX, but after listening to some of my favorite signature tracks on this, I found that this is a very weird in-ear monitor. It's good, but in most scenarios I found it to be a hit and miss. So without further confusion, let me explain. Now the KZ-PRX comes in their typical eco-friendly packaging, nothing too fancy. Sliding off the outer cover, inside the box we get some paperwork, numerous pairs of different size silicone ear tips, the oxygen-free copper silver-plated cable with 2-pin connectors on one end, an inline microphone with a multifunction control button, and it ends in a 3.5mm stereo jack. And of course you get the KZ-PRX in-ear monitors themselves that come attached with memory foam ear tips. Now in terms of specs, the KZ-PRX houses a 13.2mm planar magnetic driver in each of these in-ear monitors, and they have an impedance of 15 ohms. So that would categorize these as very low impedance in-ear monitors that your smartphone should easily be able to drive, but because of the really poor quality of the DACs that are put into your smartphones nowadays, you end up getting very weak bass or low volume and overall inferior audio quality. And to mitigate that, all you need is a portable DAC. Something like this, nothing too fancy or expensive, just something that can make sure that your in-ear monitors can perform to their full potential without leaving anything in the tank. And what you end up getting is just the highest audio quality possible. And as always, the one that I personally use will be linked in the description below. Now when it comes to the build quality of the PRX, it is exquisite. It's got a very slick looking metallic faceplate. It's got the blue accent at the center, which looks really nice. It's got the vents on the side, and it's got a transparent resin, which feels very high quality. In terms of ergonomics, although these might look chunky, which kind of they are, but they are very ergonomic. And there was no ear fatigue even for extended listening sessions. So very comfortable, beautiful, solid build, no complaints here. Now the quality of the stock cable is pretty okay. Nothing worth raving about, but it's not too shabby. I've definitely seen worse at higher priced in-ear monitors, so I think it definitely gets the job done. And as for the quality of the microphone, it is okay for taking calls so long as it's close to your mouth, and for in-game communication, I think it also does a decent job. Alright, now let's talk about the main criteria, which is the audio quality. Now as you know, sound is made up of 3 major frequencies: the highs, the mids, and the lows. The highs or the treble response where the really sharp sounding instruments are, the mids where the vocals are, and the low end or the bass response. Alright, starting off with the highs or the treble response, the highs are a good balance of detail and richness but plays it quite safe. The treble extension is within limits without sounding too piercing, which is always a welcome characteristic for fatigue-free listening. But you might feel that it could have used just a bit more reach with the ultra-high frequency. Instruments in the treble range sound authentic and sound weighty with a very neutral representation. However, while I admire the rich and smooth rendition of the treble response, I feel the sparkle is missing just a tad bit. This is by no means a deal breaker, but it gives the illusion that it lacks a bit of that edge that makes the treble sound fun and crispy. However, the fact that it makes for a very fatigue-free listening experience due to the lack of any sibilance is what makes the KZ-PRX's treble response quite good. Next up, we have the mid frequencies where the vocals are. Now the vocals may come off as a bit recessed in general, so if you're looking for a forward and bright vocal representation, you might be a bit disappointed. But on certain tracks, they sounded quite neutral, so while track dependent, it generally isn't too bright. Personally, I felt that male vocals could have used some lower mid support just to add a bit more depth and weight to them. So while warm and not shouty, they lack some body, but female vocals sound great. Now the upper mids weren't the cleanest, with a rather not so smooth roll-off, which become evident when listening to FLAC or lossless files. Instruments in the mid-range sound warm for the most part, which I enjoyed, but it lacks the edge when it comes to the upper mids, which just adds that crispiness and makes instruments sound just more alive. The instrument separation was acceptable, but I've definitely heard better from KZ themselves. And finally we have the low end or the bass response. Now the low end is tight with a major portion of the emphasis on the mid bass, and of course characteristic of a planar driver, you get a consistent sub-low rumble depending on the track. The texture of the bass is good but not great, which honestly was a bit disappointing. It wasn't the cleanest, with some audible bleed into the lower mids interfering with vocals. In general, for casual listeners, you'll get your punchy and tight bass response, but it somehow just misses to hit the spot. Now when it comes to the soundstage, it was moderately wide, nothing worth raving about. Imaging was decent, giving you a good idea of the position of instruments in the track. Alright guys, just to summarize, the KZ-PRX is a good attempt. It brings the looks, the build, the comfort, and for the most part, it is a very capable pair that can handle most genres. And for casual listeners, it'll do just fine. But if you're a more seasoned listener and can comprehend the subtle nuances, you'll quickly notice where the PRX falls short despite its planar driver configuration. And for the price, there is no shortage of competition at this price point, and even lower priced in-ear monitors from KZ might just pull ahead in terms of the price to performance ratio. So choose wisely. So there you have it guys, that was my review of the KZ-PRX. I hope you've enjoyed that. If you have any other questions regarding this, do hit me up in the comment section below. I'll try my best to answer them. As always, the link to this, the DAC and many other audio accessories will be placed in the description, and I would really appreciate if you use those links to make your purchase, as that will help me run this channel and I can produce more such high quality and helpful content just for you guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. Make sure to smash the like button, share this video, leave a comment, and as always, I'll catch you guys very soon in the next one. Cheers.